Have you ever seen this icon? Just kidding. That's a wrong question to this generation people. However, let me start with today's topic. Wi-Fi is a cute and a magical name. The Wi-Fi is used in many places. In our last video, I have explained about Bluetooth and its working, where we discussed how ShareIt and other data sharing apps work. If you haven't seen that video yet, click on the I button at the top right corner. Wi-Fi is basically an awesome thing. Why am I saying it is awesome? It's because we are able to transfer data to any of the device or any person through air. Yes, you heard me right, literally through air. So today, let us see how Wi-Fi works. You're watching Beyond and let's get into our topic. I don't know whether it's a good thing or not, but without Wi-Fi, nowadays people find it difficult. It has gone to a great extent where few companies have also designed a UPS for Wi-Fi router. Many of us make a great use of Wi-Fi without knowing what it stands for. First, let me explain that. Wi-Fi stands for Wireless Fidelity. Saying that, let me explain how Wi-Fi works from our very first step. Initially, we used to connect the wire provided by the internet user to our system, and we used to get our internet just for our system. Then a miracle took place in 1971 where Hawaii Island was connected with Aloha Net to send UHF wireless packet network. This net used to run under Aloha protocol. Then the improvement started. From 1997, the legacy started and they gave Wi-Fi IEEE standards as 802.11. Then slowly many versions came up based on the improvements and updates to the security, speed, etc. Some of the versions so far done is 802.11, 802.11b, 802.11ac and many more. How did they make data sent through air? And how is it possible to send at the speed of light in air? To do this, they found a device that acts just like a radio receiver with a new addition where it can also act as a transmitter. So just like the radio, even Wi-Fi works in radio waves, and that device is called as a router. In this device, they followed two major principles. That is, the principle used to communicate with others using a phone and a principle used to make the device act as a transceiver. If you haven't seen my video on how phones are used to communicate, click on the I button to watch that. Now when router came up, all the internet providers started to connect to the router instead of the computer. So due to this, people were able to send and receive data wireless. The router, when initially connected with the internet wire, it runs a general check to find whether it is an end-to-end connection. That is the wire connected with the provider. The same happens even when you turn off and on your router. Due to this, it takes few seconds to connect. The router once completes that check, it will verify the IP address, your devices so far connected and its authentication. This is why you find a yellow triangle in your systems and laptops while the mobiles show a message called authenticating before connecting. To do all these tasks, the router is provided with a low capacity RAM where all the IP address, MAC address, devices connected so far and other details get stored. This helps our phone to connect with the internet even once the password entered, and it doesn't ask every time. The process of router is important to connect, but how does it send and receive data? The question for today to all my viewers is, how is data sent from the provider to our computer? Let us not consider router in between. Drop down your answer in the comment section while we continue. The router has many circuitry inside, out of which we will speak only about the main ones. The Wi-Fi works using the radio waves, and further the data is transreceived with the help of router. The router's main job is to receive the radio waves, convert the data in it as zeros and ones, and then send it to our provider, where the provider will have a huge database and it searches with our requirements. Once the results are obtained, it is sent back to the router in the form of zeros and ones. The router then finds the device that requires these results and sends to that device in the form of radio waves again. All this process is done in less than a minute. Further, when optical fibers are used, the zeros and ones are converted into light which increases the speed of internet. Due to these fibers, we can transmit and receive data at the speed of light. The router helps to send data and receive data parallelly to many devices. How is this done? The router, when turned on, has its cache memory empty. Then once we start to use, the router uses FIFO technique, that is first in first out. Let us consider two devices be connected by A and B. When A searches first, the search is sent to the cache memory, then into the ADC, that is analog to digital converter, where the radio waves are converted into zeros and ones. Meanwhile, the search by B will be stored into the cache. Once the data required by A is sent to the provider, B's requirement is converted into zeros and ones. This is how the search follows even when 5 or 6 devices is connected. Based on the RAM built in, the devices that can be connected to the router vary. After saying all the working between the router and the provider, let's see how router and the devices connected receive and transmit data. After all the authentication, once the device is connected, we start our surfing. Let's take an example that we are searching a video on YouTube. So when we search, the antenna in our phone produces a set of radio waves, while the router, being a great thing, will always be emitting radio waves to a certain range. However, the range varies based on the number of antennas present in the router. Now the radio waves produced by the mobile, when hits or interlaps the radio waves to that router, it takes in the information as packets. The answer for the question that I asked is, the data is sent as packets with a trailer to indicate the packet has ended and to receive a new packet. Based on the header of each packet, they combine together to form an information. Similarly, the phone and the router will transmit packets that has the data. These packets have zeros and ones, that is, if no data, it is 0 with a huge frequency length, and if any data, it is 1 with a small frequency length in the radio waves. Now each packet has a space between the other to indicate the arrival of next packet. The same process is done by the router to send information obtained by the internet provider to our phone. As many phones search, why isn't the data I search being received by another phone with the information required by me? This doesn't happen because the Wi-Fi, just like Bluetooth, hops within its frequency range each and every second. There are many frequencies around us. Even then, the Wi-Fi is able to work accurately. Wondering how? This is because Wi-Fi is provided by two frequencies, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. There is a band of frequency and it is provided only for Wi-Fi. So when we turn on Wi-Fi in our phone, it shows all the routers available in our surroundings. Turning on the Wi-Fi is just a tap for you, while the phone searches all the routers around you based on the frequency. This is why we won't see any Bluetooth devices under Wi-Fi, as Bluetooth frequency varies. Further, if your router is 2.5 GHz, it can cover long distance with slow speed, while if it is 5 GHz, it covers short distance at high speed, due to which many router providers include both the frequency. This is how the router and internet together provides us Wi-Fi, which we use every now and then. Hope you have understood the working of Wi-Fi. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon next to it to get instant notification whenever I release a new video. Do share it with your friends and comment on what we need to speak next. And always remember to think big.